Well, there you go. Well, the reminiscence about what I did when I was growing up was basically, it's so funny is we joke about it is I used to drink from the spigot and the garden hose back in the day. All the kids did during the summer months because it was so hot and you're just like so thirsty and you're just like, just drink from the hose. You're fine.
Well, where's the harm in that? Think about it for a minute. There's nothing in that hose but water all the time. And as soon as you turn it on, if there is, it flushes it right out.
We could hope it flushes out.
If not, you're going to have a crunchy glass of water.
Yeah, something like that. And I don't really no. But we used to bike ride and everything, and it was good times back then.
Well, this is a good topic to talk about, but we're gonna slip away here for a minute, and then we'll be right back, and we'll talk about some more memories. We appreciate referrals. If you or anyone you know needs commercial, residential, interior, or exterior painting done in Sarasota or Manatee County, please let us know. And don't forget, we paint cabinets as well, along with doing drywall repair and other specialty finishes, beautifying the community one brush stroke at a time. Have a great day and call Crandenburg Painting, 941-524-2937 for a free quote. Okay, we are back.
So I was mentioning earlier about the what I did. Obviously, I didn't see the dinos, but you could probably say I probably walked in the winter with the mammoths. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Well, you're quite a bit younger than I am.
I am, but I still want to. I'm going to get the jokes one day. I know I'm going to get the jokes because people are going to throw them my way, and I'll be like, "Yep, you're right. I used to walk 5 miles of snow or 5 miles to school in blistering cold weather."
Yeah.
Funny. But the one thing I remember the most was having a good time with my friends outside. And it was not the way it is now, even before the whole pandemic. People were basically, inside doing this and whatever. I mean, example, I have every game system since Atari came out. I don't have all of them, but I have most of them. So with that, my parents would limit me and my friend maybe 2-3 hours to play a video game, and they would shove us out the door and say, go ride a bike, go do something.
Go do something, but get out of the house.
Exactly, and that's what we did. And, I hated it at that time, but now I see the presence of why it was so relevant, and now I enjoy it for what it is.
Well, yeah, I mean, and people don't do that anymore. When I was a kid on the weekends, as soon as the housework was done, we could watch cartoons. Then about noon, when the cartoons were pretty much over and Mom and Dad's shows were coming on, we go outside. We didn't come in until the street lights came on. We always knew if Mom flipped the porch light on and off, that meant it was time to come in. So you always looked for that, and you knew if you were out a little bit too long than that, Mom would be out the door yelling your name.
Oh, yeah, and the whole thing. I have to say a little caveat on that with the porch lights and everything. My mom used to do that back in the day too, but I used to also catch fireflies, and me and my friend would have like water guns, and we'd shoot the fireflies too. So you'd watch them fly down. They're like, boo, and they fly down. I have to say, do not shoot a water gun at a bat. They will attack you. We kind of shot at one. It kind of dive bombed us. We're like, nope, we're done.
See, that just goes to prove that you are of the what is it? SquarePants Bob?
Oh, SpongeBob SquarePants?
SpongeBob, yeah. That just shows that that's your era.
Oh, no, I'm before that era. I'm like Scooby-Doo, Yogi Bear type things. I'm Tom and Jerry, where it's all slapstick.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I loved how you mentioned at the one point, Katie, with the cartoons on it stuff. And that is what I cherished and loved. I still remember the times when I would get up at like 6:37 in the morning to watch cartoons until probably about 12 noon. Mm-hmm. And at 12 noon, the cartoons would go off, and then it would go to the news, or it would go to the sports.
Cartoons?
Ooh, I would watch. It would be all the Disney ones. So you'd have Gummy Bears, you would have Shirt Tales, you would have the Wacky Racers, Ghoulie Ghoulies, HR Puffin Stuff, which would be on there every so often, but would be like a Croft cartoon. Land of the Lost, which would be on there too. I'd watch that. And Captain N, the Game Master. There are a bunch. I would just watch them for hours. And the thing is, ABC, NBC, and CBS would all have them on. So when one would go off, I'd just flip the station to another one and keep watching it. And it's so funny is back in the 90s, they actually came out with a CD. I'll have to find it because it's in storage, but I have it. But it's all the cartoon intros for all the Saturday morning cartoons. And I still listen to it because it brings back so many good memories. It was so great.
Well, I can remember cartoons too, but they weren't quite the same as yours. We didn't have things like Bubble Guppies and things like that. We had My Friend Flicka.
Oh, yes, I know
Flipper,
Flicka.
Sky King, Fury.
Oh, yeah.
Lassie.
Oh, Lassie. Who's down the well this time?
Timmy's in the well? Sure.
Follow me to the well.
How did they always know where that dog was going?
Well, how'd they always know that? Well, actually, Timmy's, worse in danger, so they already knew. They were just like, well, Lassie came to get us. Timmy must be in trouble again.
Yeah, Timmy screwed up again. Go get the dog.
It's almost like the Lost in Space. Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Now, that was a hot show when I was a kid.
Oh, yes. I did enjoy that for the seasons that it was in.
And I have to say, I'm not so crazy about the new one. I don't think it's nearly as inventive.
Well, I don't. Are you talking about the movie that had the friends?
No, it's the Lost in Space.
Okay, because I know they did a movie.
Series.
Okay, I didn't know of a series. I just knew of the movie that they had the guy from Friends in there who played Joey.
Yeah.
He was in that movie, and it was okay.
Okay, that wasn't Lost in Space.
No, that was Lost in Space.
Oh. Okay. I'll have to go find that one. I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, well, go.
I'd like to see Joey as an astronaut. That could be interesting.
He was the, he was the co-pilot guy, whatever his name was.
Okay.
So I can't remember his position, but yeah, it was an interesting movie how they portrayed it and everything, but I didn't know about the new series.
Well, we could go on with cartoons forever and a day. But
yeah.
The point is, things have been different. And now, the babies that are born today are going to grow up in a world that is so magnificently different than what we grew up in. We're getting ready to see a whole generation of technology that nobody has ever imagined before. And that's what our children are going to grow up with. Well, maybe my great-grandchildren, I'll put it that way. But your children, for example,
yeah,
they're going to come up in a world that's nothing like what we had. And it's kind of sad to a certain extent because they're not going to have the joy of catching those lightning bugs. They're not going to know the fun of freaking out your friends by spotting a bat up in a tree.
Yeah.
Or screaming so loud outside that your mother thinks that you've been mortally wounded. These are things that we're used to. This is what we grew up with.
This is true. But maybe since this has happened, we've noticed that people have now cooked more, are now going out and doing things they didn't do before. Could this be a reboot?
I hope. I really do. Because I think, personally, I grew up in the best era there was. Because there were more freedoms. There were less boundaries. There were better morals. There were better values. There were better ethics. People, when they said something, that was their word. They didn't have to sign a contract. If I tell you I'm going to do something, you're only as good as your word. That doesn't happen anymore. It's very rare that you see that. And with today's society the way it is, I think COVID has just opened the door for a possibility of an alternative ending.
We'll see what happens, but I'm hoping for a reboot. That we go back to simpler times.
Well, I hate to say it, but I'd kind of like to go spend some time outdoors playing and having picnics again and going different places that, we used to get in the car and just drive forever.
Until you hit that border now, and then you got to turn around.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we talked about that last time.
I know, but I just had to, I bring that up. So.
Yeah, it certainly does make a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're only limited by so much. But it's going to be interesting. But I would like to see if anything were to come back out of this as reboot. I want Saturday morning cartoons to come back. I want them to come back, people. Bring them back.
Yeah, and could we have something that makes sense? When I was a kid, Wile E. Coyote was not considered violent. He was considered stupid. There's a difference. Wile E. Coyote blew himself up more times than I think any other cartoon character that was ever brought to life. And we still love him to this day.
Well, I don't think he was stupid. I think it was just the bad products he got from Acme. He should have returned them after the first 5.
Well, it would have helped if he'd have read the instructions.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
But that brings up a very good topic, too, on cartoons with violence and all this other stuff. Is I recently heard that they're going to remove the guns off of Elmer Fudd, Yosemite Sam, and they're going to start decreasing the violence level on these cartoons and make them more kid-friendly. I mean, that to me is...
Well, who's going to chase bugs?
I don't know. I think the best scene is like rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, and then they have the gun they shoot. And it was so funny, but how we're becoming so politically correct with this. It's just like...
Nobody has any fun anymore.
No. Here you go. Let's go even further past cartoons, like even further back in the past. Three Stooges. Abbott and Costello. Those were really bad.
Some of the most violent shows on TV.
Exactly.
Why? Because they kept beating each other up.
But the thing is, we knew that
it was expected.
Wrong. Yeah, it was expected, but it was wrong.
It was slapstick. We understood the difference between what was funny hits and what wasn't. No one was hit maliciously, but they were all poking fun at each other.
Exactly. And I think that's where it comes to the point where how do we how do we teach our younger generation what's acceptable, what's not acceptable in a sense?
We don't have anything that shows them that anymore. Now it's a matter of this is what you have to do because this is the way it's done.
Yeah.
Not why, but this is the way it's done.
And this is going to be really weird, but one of my siblings is a teacher, and she had a high schooler come into her and bring in handwritten notes from like 1920, something like that. Mm-hmm. All cursive writing. And of course, they're not teaching cursive writing in schools anymore. And she couldn't even read the writing. So if you can't read the writing, how you going to learn from the past?
There you go. I remember when I was in the 5th grade, Mrs. Keeling, God rest her soul, she has since left this mortal coil, but that was a woman who had more patience with me than Job. She literally, after I was in, I think I was in my last year of junior high or my first year of high school, I went back to her because I didn't like the way I wrote. And she gave me one of the handwriting manuals for cursive. And she worked with me until I got my handwriting to the point where you could read it. And now I think when I take my time, it's very pretty. And I remember her for that because she was patient with me when no other teachers were. But they were all complaining they couldn't read my writing. So, kids, if you invest a little extra time in what you're doing, you can perfect what you do. But people don't do that anymore.
No, but the funny thing over the whole topic is we're talking about cursive and patience and all this other stuff is just learning basic cursive, just to write your name as a signature. You should learn that because when I would work in retail and, even if you had the keypads where you had to sign and all this other stuff, I literally had people put a squiggly line. I had one person put a happy face. I had another person do this. I'm like, you really can't sign your name? That's where we've gotten to, where it's just a line scribbled. That's really bad because anyone can copy.
Mark.
Yeah, anyone can copy your signature now and say, I'm you, and just do it.
Well, that's, the smart person will sign documents one way and sign their checkbook a different way.
Never heard that.
You should consider the thought of legal deception.
All right, you'll have to enlighten me on this.
Well, think about it. If somebody steals your checkbook and signs your name a certain way that they think that you would normally sign it, the bank's going to know automatically that's not you. They're going to call you and say,